This is a
Squad.
What's up? What's up?
That ball is belted. Welcome in Carlos Gomez. Hello. Goodbye.
Ay, 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 ay. Oh man, yeah. We rockin' now for real. Yeah. BS3 Sports. Okay. Sports news, get it first when you're getting off of work. Even when you're at work, acting like you're working hard when you're hardly working. I'm a maverick like Dirk, getting Franklin's like Kirk. Hold up, boy. X-Squad, you don't know them boys? Being talking facts on every topic. Overall, we just talking noise, just being boys. Covering Texas sports in them tall hills. That with the fake pass over to Elliott. Better guard your grills like a car for real. Yeah, Cowboys gonna bring a bowl back, Lord willing. Yeah, Mavericks gonna bring a ring back with Mark in it. We live sports, we talk sports, we dream sports, we eat sports. The teacher about to teach the course. Welcome to BS3 Sports.
The weekly show.
Ay, 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 ay. Gross. Oh, man, yeah.
Welcome to the weekend wrap-up show, episode 137. Pac-Man proved me wrong. How about you? I was picking Thurman to win this fight. I didn't say knockout. I just predicted him to win it. But you could see in that first round who was in control of this fight from the beginning. Now, they went at it. They were slugging each other. And they were giving each other some hard punches, too. But Thurman went down in that first round. From there on, it was rocky. It was definitely shaky. Shout out to Miss Mocha Bella in the building. Thank you for tuning in. Tuned into the weekend wrap-up show. Join in on the show chat room. If you're tuned in the background, join in on the show chat room. It is free. It is easy to do. Just create a profile. You can join in on what we're talking about. This show right now is on X Squad Radio. Also, shout out to my fam over at the No Phony Podcast Network. And also, you can find this show on Rapture Ready Radio. So there's a lot of avenues. You can find the show. And it's 100% worth your while to tune in and to listen to it. Much love and appreciation for everyone that tuned in to the Saturday show. I enjoyed it. I truly enjoyed doing the Saturday shows, or whenever I have more time to do a show. With it being an hour, you got limited amount of time, but I'm going to get it in. I'm going to get my shows in regardless. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about Pacquiao versus Thurman. Like I just mentioned, there was a huge knockout in the first round. And what if Thurman would have stayed down? What if he would have stayed down? That could have been a huge win to that fight that quickly. But Manny Pacquiao wins in a split decision. Even if you go in earlier rounds, Manny Pacquiao was winning. He was winning this fight. Some people were saying it should have been unanimous. But throughout the whole fight, even if you look at the first 3 rounds, Pacquiao was up 30-26. This was based on Dan Raphael's unofficial scorecard. When you go to 7 rounds, he was up 68-64. Then when you go to 10 rounds, he was up again. Shout out to Mo Cheese in the building. Thank you for tuning in. So this really was not close. Now, there were some close moments, but you can't truly say that this was a close fight. Now, there was some, like I said, there were some huge blows that both of these guys were taking. Even as you got into the later rounds, there were definitely some moments where Thurman could have won some rounds, but Pacquiao still got it. Pacquiao still has it. He 100% proved me wrong. And like I always do on this show, I am not afraid to come on here and say I got something wrong. And I pretty much got something wrong in this situation because I picked Thurman. I thought Thurman was going to win, the younger guy, but that didn't mean anything. That didn't mean anything at all. The man Pacquiao still has it. At 40 years old, this guy still has it. So, a couple of questions here. What does he do now? What does Pacquiao do now? What's going to be the focus of his career? Is he done? Shout out to my pops. Thank you for tuning in. Ben Sutter Jr., thank you. But what does Pacquiao do now? Does he stay in boxing? Does he go away? And there was a question that ESPN posed, is Pacquiao better now than he was 3 years ago? And there is a kind of an argument for that, because you think about the Joe Horn fight that he lost. You think of the fights that he lost against Timothy Bradley, and there was some ups and downs in his career. He lost to Mayweather. There was kind of a string of fights that he lost. So there's 100% an argument there that you could say that he's been better out of these last couple fights. Shout out to Sayed Galloway. Pacquiao looking for paydays, says Mo Cheese. Yeah, you're at 40 now. Are you looking to just get paid? Are you low on money? Or do you just truly love this sport that you want to continue to do it? And maybe it could be either or. I don't know. I don't know Pacquiao personally, but I do know that he's been known, or he's been on record saying that he wants to fight the top fighters. So maybe he wants to just go down as one of the best. But Pacquiao did his thing. He won it in the decision. He knocked the guy out in the first round. And what do we always say in sports? Or what do we always say in sports situations is you need to start it off right. You start it off right, there it kind of all falls into place. And he started it off right. And he put Thurman to sleep. It wasn't like he took a nap. He went straight to sleep. Nighty night, Betty Bye, he had his binky, had his as his pacifier. He went to sleep. And the other question is, what's next up for Thurman? What's in Thurman's plans? Do you go for a rematch? Do you want to go up against this guy again? Do you want to go up and maybe fight someone else? What's in his plans? Because this could potentially, this is his first loss. Maybe Pacquiao will be interested in a rematch. I would be interested in a rematch if that's what Pacquiao agrees to. But Thurman, this is the first fight that he has ever lost. Pac-Man should keep fighting until he gets knocked out. Good point. Definitely a good point. But what does Thurman do? And also, it goes to the fact, is he as good as we thought? Or did he just have a bad fight? Or is he worse off than what we truly thought he was? Because people have been talking about that last fight that he had, and how during that fight, his previous fight, he didn't look that good. He's been on a layoff. So you got to factor all those kind of things in. But he went the distance with Pacquiao, and they were trading blows. So it's not as if after he got knocked out, he wasn't doing anything going forward. I think he did everything he possibly could. But the amount of punches that were landed and the effectiveness of Manny Pacquiao prevailed. It prevailed. And the guy is a champion once again. I got much respect for Pacquiao. I got much respect for him. At 40 years old, fighting a guy 10 years younger than him. Thurman is 30 years old, fighting a guy 10 years younger than him. Not only did he fight, but he beat. And I think huge. I think that's huge. Shout out to Melvin in the building. Also, DJ Knox in the building. I thought Thurman was winning the first round until the knockdown. I also thought he had a chance to win the decision until he got hit with that bullet by Pacquiao in the 10th. that made him stumble a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, don't tell anybody, but I was watching it on Periscope. I was watching it on Periscope. Don't tell anybody. But it worked. I mean, it worked. And I normally rarely pay for fights, so it did work. Back it up like Juvenile says, Mo Cheese. And, I got to say this real quick. It's completely random, but there's a page on Facebook. I think it's called Genius. And they did speaking of back it up, they did a step-by-step on how Manny Fresh made the beat. He talked about, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I'm going to go back and probably watch the rest of it. But it talked about how he made the beat. It talked about what he was trying to do. It even showed what horns and what loops that he used. But that is a classic song. And when you hear Cash Money taking over for the 9-9 in the 2000s, and right now we're in 2019, and that is still relevant to this day, that just tells you how long that song and the longevity of that song. But that was completely random, but I just went based on that comment that the Mo Cheese put in there. So go check that out. That was on Facebook. I think the page is called Genius. And so go check that out. But what does Pacquiao do next? What does Thurman do next? The big fight that we want to see, that people want to see, is Errol Spence and Bud Crawford. Does Pacquiao maybe fight one of those guys? Shout out to Courtney Harden. Thank you for tuning in. Does he fight one of those guys? And I don't know. He said he wants to fight the best of the best, so why not? But you really got to consider the dude's going to be 41 probably by the time one of those fights happen. These cats are young. These cats are not playing around. They didn't have a layoff. They are ready to shut down your career. I would love to see it, though. I would love to see it. We've seen a lot of fights with fighters getting older. Specifically, you could talk about Pacquiao, talk about Mayweather. You could talk about the guy, can't remember his name right now, but this guy was older, and he also had some good fights. If you guys can think of the name, he was a boxer. He was in prison. Can't get the name off the top of my head, but I know somebody will put it in there. Manny Pacquiao called it. Pacquiao will probably fight the winner of Porter versus Spence. I'm very interested to see what he does next. But Pacquiao gets the job done, split decision. So you can see by split decision, some of these guys were thinking this could go one way or the other. And do you think the judges got it right? I'll pose that question to you guys in the chat room. Do you think the judges got it right? Do you think it should have been that close? Also, we got my man Clutch Talk Sports in the building, Kev, who did a great job. Great job. He is in the Fan Phenom contest, 105 through the Fan. He was on the radio on Saturday. I was grinning, man. I was grinning with excitement for you. And you killed it. So let us know as soon as you know something. He'll be on today, 4 to 6 Eastern, 3 to 5 Central on Sports Radio America. But I am happy for you. Beyond happy for you. The fight should have been unanimous decision. Pacquiao won the fight 7-5 rounds. Yeah, he did. He did. And they try to make it seem as if it was closer, but it didn't really look that close. But at the end of the